She came in out of the rain without a drop on her, which is a trick I've only seen women like her manage. No tears, no shaking, just a stillness that costs more to hold than a scream. The dangerous ones never run hot. They sit down, fold their hands, and tell you the floor is solid right up until it isn't.
Let me take the coat, honey. It's dry, which means you walked careful in weather that doesn't let anybody walk careful. Sit there, where he can see your hands. He listens better when he can see the hands.
My husband went out to run a small errand. Nothing really. The kind of thing a man does between his coffee and his lunch. He didn't come back. There's no note, no body, no telephone call. And no one, anywhere, will admit he owed them a thing.
A man with no debts is either a saint or a liar, and this city's fresh out of saints. Men don't vanish over nothing, lady. They vanish over the one thing nobody wants to say out loud. What was the errand?
He wouldn't tell me. He kissed my forehead, said he'd be an hour, and went down into the morning like it was any other Tuesday. That was 3 weeks ago, the 12th, noon by the clock in the hall.
I kept my face the way you keep a hand of cards against a card counter. The 12th, at noon. I knew that hour. I'd spent it on the courthouse steps, walking a frightened stranger down into a crowd, and somewhere in that same daylight, a man I never saw bought him 3 seconds and didn't go home. Same city, same minute, 2 men who didn't come back. I told myself it was a big town with a lot of noon in it. I almost believed me. Frankie Slim went into the harbor a while back, and the city did what the city does. It grew another one. This one hung around a payphone off the docks like he was waiting for it to ring. He sold what Frankie sold, only cheaper, and he startled easier. I caught him with the receiver against his ear and nobody on the line.
Detective, hey, easy, easy. I don't deal in trouble, see? I sell weather. Who's dry? Who's getting rained on? Which way the wind's blowing down on the pier? Weather, not names. Ask anybody.
Then tell me about the weather on a certain corner. Day a man should have gone down outside the courthouse and didn't. Somebody bought that corner, Slim. I want to know who was holding the receipt.
The courthouse? No. No, that's not weather. That's a whole front coming in, and I don't stand under that kind of sky. Listen, I got a fella waiting on me crosstown. I'm already late.
He can wait in the rain, same as us. The corner, Frankie. Who paid?
2 of them, all right? 2. And they wasn't working together. One schedule didn't know the other was breathing. First buyer, that's regular freight, that's dock money. You can smell the fish on it. But the second guy, his paper come clean, pressed. The kind with a stamp on it, civic-like. Money with a receipt nobody ever keeps. That ain't Marchetti's drawer, detective. That's... I gotta go. I swear on my mother, I gotta go.
And he was gone into the rain, the receiver still swinging, before I could ask the one thing that mattered. Not who the second buyer was, but who he'd been watching for. Clean money on a dirty corner. In this city, that's a contradiction, and a contradiction is just a thread that hasn't told you its name yet. I've never met a thread I didn't pull. The Chronicle morgue was a basement full of dead paper, and Flynn the reporter lived down there like a man who'd made peace with the smell. He could follow a dollar the way a hound follows blood. I had a name with no body to put it on, yet a city's worth of receipts. We traded.
All right, you gave me the corner, I'll give you the money. Clean money's the easy kind to trace, that's the joke nobody tells you. Dirty money hides. Clean money keeps records because clean money's proud of itself. So our second buyer pays a wage, the wage gets booked, and a booked wage has to come from somewhere.
So walk it upstream. Where's it come from before it's a wage?
Disbursement to a holding account to a line item that doesn't want a name. And the line item, Flynn, look at the letterhead, that's not a club, that's not the docks, that's the audit, that's his office, the one that's been counting everybody else for 2 years.
19 cases, and not once had a thread of mine touched that desk. I'd gone around it, under it, the long way home in the rain. Now the money had walked me straight up the steps and put my hand on the door. Flynn slid a payroll sheet across the table that should not have existed and went the color of the paper.
Your missing man, he's right here, drawing a quiet wage to stand on corners and watch. This isn't a husband who wandered off Flynn, this is a piece the machine sent out. They put him on the board themselves, and then they never logged him back in.
I'd come looking for a man who got lost. What I'd found was a man who'd been spent by an office that never spends a thing by accident, and his name was sitting on a sheet I was never meant to read, in ink that belonged to the one desk in this city I'd spent 19 cases learning to leave alone. The Blue Room had a back booth where the light didn't reach and the waiters didn't linger. Pauly Marchetti sat in it the way a spider sits in the soft part of the web. He poured 2 glasses I hadn't asked for, and I knew before I sat down that I was about to be done a favor I'd be paying off for a long time.
Sit. Drink. You've been busy, I hear, pulling on a thread that belongs to a fella nobody's gonna miss. So let me do you a kindness, between friends. That corner. The second buyer. That wasn't my money. That body you're chasing was never mine to spend.
That's a lot of denial for a corner you don't care about.
See, that's disrespectful, and I'm a reasonable man, so I'll let it lay. I'm saying it plain. That name belongs to people even I gotta mind my manners around. And here's the part keeps me up nights. Your fella stepped in front of that gun on his own clock. No order, no envelope. Nobody upstairs pays for instinct, Flynn. It ain't civilized. It don't add up.
Maybe somebody did it because it was the right thing.
Yeah. That's what scares the careful people. Now those careful people, they already clocked the digging. They know somebody's got a shovel out over a dead nobody. So as a friend, I'm only wondering out loud here. Why's a smart man like you want to be the one holding it?
He smiled and topped off a glass I hadn't touched. The second buyer wasn't his. The dead man wasn't his. For once, Pauly Marchetti was telling me the truth, and that was the worst news of the night. Because the truth had a name attached, a name that lived behind a civic desk where the lights stayed on late. I'd come in looking for a buyer. I was leaving with a shovel in my hand and the feeling that somebody upstairs was already counting how deep I meant to dig. She came back the way the rain came back, on schedule and asking for nothing she could be talked out of. I'd spent 2 weeks turning over a corner the city had already sold twice, and I'd come up with the one thing she'd hired me to find, a name. I'd never had a name cost me this much to say out loud.
You found him. I can tell by your face. You've got the look a man gets when he's about to hand a woman something she can't give back.
Your husband was on that corner because somebody downtown paid him to be. Eyes on a piece of pavement that 2 different men wanted, for 2 different reasons. On schedules that never got introduced. He wasn't a hero. He was hired.
Then how did he die in front of a stranger? Hired men keep their heads down. They go home.
Because when the gun came up, he knew the man it was pointed at, knew him from a debt of his own, the kind that doesn't get written anywhere. So he stepped in. 3 seconds. Nobody upstairs ordered it. Nobody upstairs will mourn it. That part was his and only his.
A real name. A real reason. That's more than most widows get. It doesn't bring him up the steps, but it's mine now. And I'll carry it better than the not knowing.
She took her name and went out into the weather, and the desk that hired her husband stayed right where it was, behind a civic door, dry, untouched, and now aware that the digging had a face. Mine.
You finally got the name you've been chewing on for 2 weeks. You should look lighter than that. You look like a man who just got handed a bill.
I've got a name for it now, Dale. That's the trouble. All this time it was just a weight with nothing written on it. Now there's a line, and a name on the line, and the man it belongs to is in the ground.
A name's supposed to close the account. That's how it usually works around here.
She was right, the way she's always right, and we both let it sit. I had the name at last. I had the reason, clean and whole and true. And there was nobody alive to pay it to, and nobody downstairs who'd touch the men who set it in motion. A name is supposed to make a thing lighter. This one I'd be carrying with both hands, and the line at the bottom would stay blank as long as I lived.